making sure that you can bridge traditional practices with actual insights so that farmers can actually farm better. That we can do. So I don't understand why we're not a global competitive player in agri when every single neighboring country, Thailand, Vietnam, came here, we taught them, they brought it back, and they got better. Like,
Yep.
I
Now
don't
we're importing from
understand.
them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Founders Only is brought to you by PayMongo, the payment gateway for business growth. PayMongo allows your business to accept online payments from customers through Visa, MasterCard, GCash, GrabPay, Maya, online banking, buy now, pay later, and many more, all with just one online platform. Sign up for free at paymongo.com.
And brought to you by GoTyme Bank. GoTyme Bank is owned by the Gokong Wei Group, the same companies that brought you brands you love like Cebu Pacific, Robinsons, True Value, Toys R Us, South Star Drug, and many more. GoTyme Bank makes next-level banking a breeze with its convenient account opening process. It takes less than 5 minutes to get started via the free app. Plus, get your GoTyme Bank Visa card at one of their kiosks for free. Download the GoTyme Bank app today and experience the next level of banking. You may visit www.gotyme.com.ph for more details. The Hustleshare podcast is sponsored by Shoppable Business, your #1 source for procuring products for your business in the Philippines. Discover authentic branded products online. Shop bulk, save big, and secure authentic products with official sales invoices at Shoppable Business today.
Want to build a better future through entrepreneurship? Villgro Philippines is a gender-smart impact incubator supporting startups tackling the toughest social and climate challenges in Southeast Asia. From funding to mentorship, we back purpose-driven founders making real change happen. Visit villgrophilippines.org or email hello@villgrophilippines.org to learn more.
Welcome to the latest episode of the Founders Only podcast brought to you by Hustleshare. And again, it's been a while since we did last did this format. I'm gonna come clean. It's been a minute. I'm not gonna lie. Been a crazy couple months. Actually, probably even a year being a founder. But again, we're doing this because we have such a special lineup of guests here. And again, this is brought up by Villgro, our partner Villgro, when we're doing the Hustleshare Founders Roundtable in the Founders Only podcast, obviously the sequel of Hustleshare. And today we have two very, very exciting guests because this is like a condensed version of Hustleshare, but obviously there's a theme and it all revolves around Villgro and the impact that they do. So again, just to give a quick context of over what Villgro is a gender-smart impact incubator that funds, mentors, and nurtures entrepreneurs, building innovative solutions to the most intractable social and climate issues in the Philippines and Southeast Asia. But let's welcome to the show our two esteemed guests real quick. And I don't want to butcher their names. So the first one is the co-founder and CEO of AniTech, Miss Gillian Santos. Whoop, whoop.
Hey, guys.
Welcome to the show. And of course, last but not the least, the co-founder of Arka Inc., Mr. Neil Kho.
Maayong hapon.
Oh, yan. Maayong hapon ba? Okay. Kasabot ako. Okay. I'm waray. Okay. I'm full-blown bro. Again, super duper excited that you guys are here. Thank you. Shout out to Villgro, what it is. But we always start the episode, and since it's the condensed version, it's the founders roundtable version of Founders Only, let's give this a proper treatment, okay? Because I need to ask you the $1 million question. Guys, what's your hustle? Let's start with you, Neil.
By the way, I'm Neil Kho. I'm one of the co-founder of Arka
Are you guys based out of Cebu?
from Cebu. So
Okay.
we are an Agri-Tech supply
Stop.
chain platform
Mm.
that enables it's an ecosystem of solutions that enables farming communities. And
Nice.
these farming communities creates a livelihood, is more sustainable, and is also transactional. It creates B2B transactions between farmers and our
Sounds good.
clients.
All right, we'll dissect that in a bit later when we do that and how you got that. But of course, we have to turn it over to Jill. Okay, so Jill, what do you do? What's your hustle? And what is AniTech?
All right. So I'm Jill. I'm the CEO and co-founder of AniTech. So we basically exist to harness technologies and democratize access of these technologies to farms and other stakeholders such as post-harvest players to be able to grow and deliver food smarter and faster. So how we do that is threefold. We provide the hardware, the software, and the actionable data for both farmers and distributors to make informed decisions, eliminate the guesswork that comes with agricultural practices, and then enable them to optimize their supply chains even further. So very, very, very related to the work that Neil
Very,
Neil
very
does.
agri.
Yes,
Okay,
very,
so
very
that's
agri.
the theme of today's
Agri.
episode. So again, just like every typical, one thing wasn't able to bring today is the time machine. Okay, it's too big. I didn't know where to park it. Typically, what we do is we go through the Hustleshare time machine, but we're gonna skip through that real quick, and I want to understand your origin story. I'll start with you, Jill. So, okay, you guys are obviously revolved doing something around agri and whatnot, but before you created AniTech, what was life or what was the first few hustles that you remember doing? Sorry, I'm gonna throw. This is a throwback period, bro. So what it is, that's what it is. So I want to understand what were you doing prior to AniTech?
Right. So I was a researcher and consultant for about 7 years. Most of it were, government research grants, university research grants. Yeah, researcher through and through, mostly on nanotech. But I'm kind of like a one-band woman. When I did my stint as a researcher, they kind of threw me in different responsibilities such as policy development, IP development, lab work, stakeholder engagement, etc., etc. Why did they throw me into this? Because I graduated physics, economics. So your two favorite subjects, right? Awesome, super awesome. So there was not a term that went by when I was in LaSalle that I didn't have math. So super amazing, right?
Giving me PTSD. When
Yeah.
you say math, ouch. Okay,
Diba?
so no. It's
So-
math that I didn't still use. So Pythagoras, sorry.
Yeah.
I did not need what you needed. But I want to drill into that before you even get there, because this is a very highly specialized career prior to going
Yes.
that. I know a couple of former of current founders that went into this space as well, doing an amazing work. One of them's like Carmina Bayombong of InvestEd, right? She said that her superpower is creating grant or applying for grants, and she gets the grants, right? But walk us through the grind of what you did prior. Because again, it's highly specialized, but if you really master it, it will always benefit you when you're doing it on your own now.
Well, honestly, for me, I do have the unfair advantage because, I come from a family of physicists. My father
wow.
is a physicist. He's a professor.
Okay.
Did his stint in research for about 3 decades. Knows the DOST process very, very well. He's pretty much gone through that entire system for about 3 decades. So everything that he knows, he passed on to me, passed on to my brother, who's also a physicist. What? Yeah, who's also with
What
me
do you
as a
guys talk about
co-founder.
at home? Inertia?
Oh my god! Oh gosh, no. We have actually, we have this
The
thing.
velocity of the rice coming out of the rice cooker?
Yeah, I mean, well, we really try not to talk about work at home because my mother is not a physicist. She's a nurse by profession. So we try to keep it on the down low. But yes, mostly when we've worked together on several grants. In fact, that's the reason why I was in my job for 7 years. But everything on how to write the grant proposal, how to propose it to the technical panel of these agencies, how to get it. He's taught me everything, including his sort of like all of his proprietary work that he's done within the university.
I'll just do a deep dive because again, this is such a hard thing to do.
Right.
Especially before when there was no chat GPT.
Oh. Yeah.
Now there's a cheat code there.
That's true.
Yeah,
Okay,
there.
like, write me blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. Then it's done. Then we sound like a physicist or at least close to it.
Exactly.
But prior to chat GPT, dude, so we were applying for a grant in DOST as well. And I said to my co-founder, there's no way in hell we would have done it. Because this feels like thesis in college
Yeah.
again.
Yep.
And it's not fun at all. It's like a waste of human intellect. And by the time you're done with just a couple pages, you're spent. You're done. Like you can't even do anything else.
Yeah.
So what's the proper secret to really thrive in this environment? Again, pre-chat GPT.
well, at the time, one of the things that was made clear to us back then as a researcher is you have to have more than one concept drawn up in your head. one novel application. Let's say for example,
Okay.
our solution right now is sensors. If you wanna increase your chances of success, you go through multiple applications, or you change something with the sensor, or you develop a different type of solution that complements your initial product or IP.
Yeah.
So that's how we do it, and then we categorize them like, okay, we have to have at least like 3 to 5.
Wow.
3 to 5 written with an initial methodology and an initial problem statement. And then go from there. I'm not sure if you know Paul Pajo.
Yep,
Of
shout
course,
out the
right?
Bridge Man. There you
Yeah.
go.
Hi, Mayor of Poblacion. Char.
No,
Okay.
he's the governor.
Yeah, the
Okay, he's been
governor.
promoted.
Right, of course.
Oh.
So, yeah, because last 2023, 2 days before the deadline of DOST TAPI, he tells me to write a proposal. I'm like, oh my God, are you crazy? So I'm like,
Where are
okay.
you a Benilde Hi-Fi in Qapita as well?
Yes.
Yeah, and we're Pareho. There you go. Shout out. Okay.
Yeah. So I didn't know that it was 2 days before the deadline. He told me, no, just apply. I'll get you all of the necessary documentation on the DOST side. So all I had to do was write a proposal. Luckily enough, I had one proposal that never got in, like never passed DOST. So I was like, you know what? I'll try it in this this agency, and
You have
well,
so
you know,
many.
like
Okay.
cross fingers that it gets passed. It passed. Holy crap! I was
That's
like,
amazing.
I mean, it was just by chance. I met
Yeah.
Paul 2 days before the deadline. Okay, nung time na yun, it was, alam mo yung NIASD? Yun, si Bongbong,
Yep.
with the ano, and then, yeah, yun. That event, I saw him come down the stairs. I was like, uy, Paul, pito ka. Then we talked.
Like Cinderella coming down the
Yeah.
stairs. Wow.
Like,
Hey, I know
timing
that
ka.
guy. That's amazing. Okay, I'm gonna turn it over to Neil. Okay, so Neil, are you a physicist as well? Just kidding. No, dude, I'm super intimidated by her story. It's not just you. There's two of us here who
And a
feel
girl,
really dumb.
Wait,
And a
no,
woman.
please.
Yeah.
But we can make sabay with ChatGPT. Okay? If whatever jargon she throws at us today will be fine. But Neil, what's your origin story? To give us a quick background. Because again, you guys all end up doing something in agri. What's your origin story, and what was the first few hustles you did prior to
I was
what
in
you're doing in
a
Arka?
corporate for about 10 years. I'm a computer engineer, actually.
You're a dev.
Yeah.
Technology,
engineer.
sorry.
Technologies.
Okay.
Went into firmware, those stuffs.
Okay.
So I was sent in China for manufacturing.
Wow.
So I was in that field, and I love it. So I love people
Shenzhen.
also. So Shenzhen, I was there.
Mhm.
Nice.
Almost every month I was there. On the peak of my career, I resigned. So my mom cried, said, "Oh, I pay a lot for your tuition and this, and then you just resign." Because I have already a side hustle. I have computer internet cafe,
Right.
sari store. So I was
Right.
doing stuff, and immediately I stopped. And then I have the internet cafe, convenience store, testing about how to deal with people running a small business.
Hmm.
And I think before pandemic, my idol was really Alibaba. When looking
Of
at
course.
him, said, I want to create something like Alibaba, an e-commerce giant, do this.
Mhm.
So I was looking at a certain place, looking for a name, and then I saw this CD,
Okay.
like the Noah's Ark.
Oh.
So we said, okay,
I
Arka.
see.
Because we were talking about
Yeah.
Apple, Carabao, those brands. And we put Arka.ph and that brand. We were able to
Wow.
secure it.
Nice.
But the goal really was to build an e-commerce thing, and it's impossible because we are not manufacturing. We don't do that.
Right.
And this Arka now
Yeah.
turns to be an arc of agriculture. So pandemic came, is a sort of response na I have 10 people in the internet cafe, it's closed down. But I pray for that maybe I'll have a decent business that will really transform into a bigger one.
Wow.
Pandemic closed it, everything.
Right.
So I have to respond because I have 10 people. So we said, you just sell vegetables because that's the only way.
Yeah.
And then it turned out to be from processing to dealing down. The problem was not really the supply, it was the farmer. And then good thing there was a call with P-Shared. I don't have money anymore. I don't have any choice. So I passed my first proposal to
Ala.
P-Shared.
Did you have multiple options like her?
Only one because I'm not good.
Okay.
Then last moment, like 5 p.m. is the last to send.
Yep.
440. Then it went in.
Wow.
But I was coached by a sort of TBI guy from Cebu, coach us about. So it went in. It's on the agri supply chain.
Nice.
And I think that's God's way of, okay, this is, I give you the money, you work for it. And that was the jump start.
I love the story. And again,
Yeah.
this is where the confluence happens, right?
Yep.
All through grants, through DOST at the start, but eventually it becomes Villgro, right?
Yes.
I want to understand, Neil, I have so much respect for founders who really just write it out for their employees. You could have just, you didn't have to do what Noah did, where it took everybody.
Yeah.
In. You could have just threw all the animals and just, ride to safety, write it out. But you chose to take the right path. I did that too in PNA. And what that entails sometimes is that while everybody eats, you're starving. So it's such a selfless thing to do. Walk me through why you chose to do that, because it's not easy.
Yeah, it's sort of, that's where my strength came from. Because it's okay you go home because I'm an engineer, my wife is working in a big company also.
Yeah.
But immediately after 3 months, he was part of the retrench. But seeing, I could imagine like when these people go home with no food, no work, I cannot sleep. Then I have the capability to maybe do things.
Yeah.
So I just respond to that call and I said, but it was really hard. Even my mom was really angry. Said my mom, what are you doing? You save your family. All the vegetables is on the house. My wife transferred to another house because we cannot anymore. We just sleep, wake up because it becomes a production area in the night. So I just respond because 10 people need that help and always see this. Like if they are struggling in a good state, how much more in these things?
Yeah.
So I'll just respond crazy things, but I cannot sleep seeing people like you don't do anything from it.
No, and I totally agree because again, what employment does is when people choose to work with you.
Yep.
It's your fiduciary and responsibility to make sure that every 15th, 30th, and everything else in between, they'll be fine.
Yep.
Right? And the families they support rely on whatever income you provide
That's
them.
the thing. It's not just one person. It's the four,
Yeah.
all
Same.
the family.
You bring that with you, right?
Yep.
You sleep with it. First thing you think about, like, will Rainier have enough money to pay for his gambling addiction? Rainier's behind the camera. Just kidding. No, for the team, this is all for them.
Yep.
And you're the last one to eat, if you even get to eat at all.
Yeah.
Right?
That's right.
When you send a salary and then you left with this much, so just eat, then share.
Just enough to buy puso.
Yeah, because we have something in our table
Yeah.
and some support, but it was hard that everything has to pass.
Correct.
But there were times really that admittedly we cannot afford to provide the salary. I'll just provide them the vegetables that we have and the rice, because that was the close down.
Wow.
But eventually but the people, it gets stronger. Yung people trust us and say, let's fight. So that's the pandemic, and until now it's still with that culture that we build.
Because you build trust.
We build trust.
Yeah.
Totally.
That's the thing.
Yeah. Okay, now last question before we take our first break. So I love the origin story, condensed version of it, but we're always at that precipice of why you want to write it out. Again, you're a physicist, you'll be fine. You're great at what you do. You know how to make grants. Same with you, and I'll throw the same question for both of you. Why did you choose to become an entrepreneur? Because we could have easily just, you're already computer engineering, right? But what was that itch you wanted to scratch of why you chose to write it out on your own? Jill, you muna.
The first thing that came into my mind was that day in 2022 was my last contract. My last contract was with the National Food Authority, sort of. Yeah. The dean of the School of Economics at the time.
How much was the price of rice back then? Just kidding.
Oh, nako. And ito pa.
Just kidding.
Yeah,
Okay.
without getting into
2022 was an election year also. There you
Yep,
go.
exactly.
Mhm.
So that was my last contract, and the consulting team that I was a part with was for RA 11203.
I have no idea. What is that?
We all know We
that?
both know what
What's
11
RA11203, Neil?
I don't know. She
rice tarification law.
Oh.
Yeah, okay. Let's
Okay.
yun na lang. Okay, let's stop.
GMG, whatever that means.
Oh.
Rice tarification law, alam mo na kung ano nangyari doon.
Mhm.
I think the last thing I passed in the board
Okay.
of the NFA Council, that was the day I was like, okay, I'm done. Like this is not how I'm gonna spend my life. I'm not gonna spend my life
How young were you back then?
I was 22, 23.
Wow,
Mostly.
and you had
Very young.
conviction. I ain't doing this
I was
shit no
like,
more.
Yeah,
Wow.
parang I did a time horizon. Like, oh, am I really gonna be doing this for the next 5-10 years? Yeah, sure, it pays money and I can rack up so many other
There's
projects
rice.
like this, but I'm not doing anything. And there are problems. There are problems that you can't solve, like climate change. Okay, sure, right? You know, by God's grace, if a typhoon hits you, diba?
Tabangi, Lord,
Diba?
tabang Lord. Yeah,
Diba?
that's what
Anong
you can.
magagawa mo, diba?
Yeah.
I mean, there's not much you can do. I mean,
Yep.
things like lack of infrastructure. You can't do anything about that unless you're like MVP, diba? Or Ramon
Or
Ang,
RSA.
diba? But making supply chains efficient, making sure that
Yep.
you monitor every stage, making sure that you eliminate the guesswork, making sure that you can bridge traditional practices with actual insights so that farmers can actually farm better. That we can do, right? So I don't understand why we're not a global competitive player in agri when every single neighboring country, Thailand, Vietnam, came here. We taught them, they brought it back, and they got better. Like,
Yep, and
I
now
don't
we're importing from
understand.
them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, parang this can't be it, right? So what is happening? So
I love
from
it.
rice, I got obsessed. That's what kept me up at night. Then researched different other crops, and it's all the same thing, all the same problems,
Right.
right?
That's true.
Just different crops.
Okay.
It all comes back to what you don't measure, you don't know, and what you don't know, you can't solve,
Mhm.
That's right.
right?
I love it. And again, it's personal to you because you're already at that centerpiece where you are again in the NFA where it is. But you, instead of writing it out there, you said, you know what? If I choose to become the system or be part of the system,
Yeah.
nothing's gonna happen.
Exactly.
I love it. And now you chose the harder. You went hard mode.
Yeah. It's like,
Oh my God, good luck. But okay. And we'll talk about your current journey so far after the break. But Neil, how about you? What made you take that jump? Because again, you were doing it. You were contrarian.
Yeah.
I had the same. You know, a lot of people were like, "Hey, your mom got mad at you. Why did you leave? You know, chose to do this stuff." But what was that itch you wanted to really scratch to become an entrepreneur?
Yes, sometimes I this time like you cannot answer that. It's like you feel crazy about why you're doing it, but you keep doing it. But I think what makes it there is the responsibility. Like I cannot just put people say go away.
Yeah.
Or let's stop this because
Yeah.
I'm doing different career. It's like family, right? If people are sick, even the next day they die, you still want to save them.
Yep.
I think that's that thing, but sometimes it's sometimes crazy because why would you do those problems? It's a big problem, but you have a family, so it's a bit crazy. But that what keeps me sometimes with Mom Gel is that maybe when I know why she's in the rice. It was really designed to be there because you will have a bigger task.
Yeah.
That's what for me also
Mhm.
because I'm also a son of a farmer. I become an engineer because my dad helped raise hogs for me.
Wow.
And then it's a sort of response because I live in the province. I know how hard if you don't have livelihood.
Mm.
So it keeps me going because I was raised there.
Yeah.
So even now I cannot answer, but it's just responding on those things and seeing people every day that your support,
Mhm.
they were happy, they were motivated, some lives are improved,
Mm.
and that kept me coming
Got it.
because you see, oh, every time there's a salary, they go and buy grocery,
Yan.
right? That's feeding
that's
them.
Mm.
So that's the thing. Like even it's not a salary from you, but seeing them
Thrive.
impact the lives of them. That's sometimes it's contagious.
Mm.
That
Yeah,
which
for
makes it contagious.
It's very inspiring also as a founder.
Yep, it's firing.
That's amazing. All right, now let's take our first break, and when we come back, we will now talk about their origin story. I mean, not their origin story, just talked about it. Their first few steps, obviously, how they got into Villgro, how Villgro impacted them, and obviously what they're up to now. And of course, this is Founder Show, and we're going to talk about the hard stuff. We're not just going to flex about, hey, this is so amazing what we're doing. We're going to talk about real founder struggles and everything else in between. But we'll talk about that more after the break.
Hey hustlers, are you tired of bank transfer fees and low interest rates on your savings? Say hello to GoTyme Bank. GoTyme Bank offers interest rates 50x higher than traditional banks. Enjoy this rate on your savings. No minimum amount, no deposit caps, and no tasks or missions to complete. With GoTyme Bank, you can make quick and secure transfers to other banks with 3 bank transfers per week. Plus, earn Go Rewards points and redeem them as cash with a simple tap in the GoTyme Bank app. Experience the next level of banking with GoTyme Bank. Download the app now or visit www.gotyme.com.ph to experience next level banking. It's GoTyme! Hey hustlers, PayMongo is your payment gateway for business growth. With PayMongo, you can accept online payments from your customers through Visa and MasterCard, debit and credit cards, GCash, Maya, RabPay, online banking, BNPL, installments, and many more. All with just one platform. For business owners, online payment collection used to be such a pain. Long negotiations and paperwork, complex developer docs, and having to gather all these proofs of payment from your customers would be a serious drag in your operations. Now with just one partner, you can simplify all of that and focus on growing your business. PayMongo's story showcases the resilience of Filipino businesses in today's digital economy. During the pandemic, they became a lifeline to countless businesses by helping them go online quickly, serve their customers, and generate revenue. They have since grown exponentially and now supported thousands of businesses from SMEs to venture-backed startups and even the most established enterprises in the country. PayMongo's products allow you to accept all types of payments with or without a website, and they continue to expand into more streamlined financial services. So sign up for free today. Visit paymongo.com to get your business activated in 1 week or less.
And we're back from the break. We are still with Neil and Jill. Neil and Jill. Oh, diba? What? Neil and Jill went up the hill. Okay, so again, this was an accident, and that's a terrible joke. But we're here to actually talk about their hustle through the Villgro program, Villgro community. But what I love about what you guys started out is that there's a common thread. You guys got a grant. And by the way, this is a big shout out to the law that allowed us to do this. In 2019, I had when it was just an act, or a bill wasn't even an act. Big shout out to Senator Bam. Because
I voted for him.
All these grants that you see from PSER, from DOST, DICT, and DTI, all came from the mandate of the Philippine Startup Law.
Yeah.
There ain't grants and without that law. So now, again, big thank you, Senator Bam, because before, the government doesn't even do this, or if there were, people didn't know about it.
Yep.
Now, there's so many startups that are being funded or given opportunities because of the lens of what these 3 departments are able to do, and mandated to cut checks every year. The VCs are few and far between na nga. There's not everybody gets to a Villgro, right? But if there was government support at the start, then you got something. So I'll start with you, Neil. So you already got the grant. Again, you saw an Ark, the CD of First of all, why did you have a Noah's Ark CD?
It's true. I'm not making stories.
What CD is this? Why is there a Noah's Ark CD?
I don't know.
I want to understand. So after you got the grant, again, we're also going through a DOST PSERD accreditation. You can't just blow that money.
Oof.
There are milestones and all these other stuff that you need to hit. Similar to how a VC would hold you accountable, what was the first few steps you had to go through, considering that you sent this proposal and now you're on the clock to turn that into fruition?
Yeah, when we got the PSER it was really a sort of a survival move, no?
Okay.
But since I was, by the way, we thank Senator Bam,
Mm.
Twisted Sheared. I'm also a MSME, KMME graduate. So I was prepared, but when I have the money, I have really the focus of, even if we're doing the research on those things, I'm actually after 9 months really go to the market and say, oh, we have the product. Are you willing to buy?
Mhm.
So we immediately involve with supplying the produce and letting them, this one client of ours,
Mhm.
that if he's happy, willing to pay, that's the move.
Mm.
But when we try to move, it becomes bigger and bigger. So the fund actually is enough to us to jumpstart. But the biggest responsibility was the growing of the company, because it has 40 people impacted. We have 10 people. So those are the things was the challenge.
Yeah.
But I would think that first stage of Fisher to know the problem, because when we do the research, we were given that chance. We thought that the problem is just providing this supply from the farmers to the market.
Yeah.
But when we dig deeper, the problem was the farmer. The farmer
Why?
don't have land. The farmer don't have expertise, don't have infrastructures. And now he said, my co-founder said, Neil, he was hooked. You even put our money out because we have to be a farmer. We have to build rain shelter. We have to design, because if we do the same thing,
Mm.
it will be the same. So we become committed to what we signed for, because we
Yeah.
thought we'll just trade. And that was the, I will not say the trap, but
Yeah.
if maybe God will tell me about that, I will not continue.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's you though.
It's
You
a-
also
Right?
use
Yeah,
project
it's a
You-
prank.
It was a prank. Then when we were there, because entrepreneurs are always engineers, are solution provider.
Correct.
So we always dig down and go there. So that's the thing. And from there I said, okay, we will encounter more problems. And since we're there, we said to ourselves that, okay, let's face this problem one by one, let's fix it and move. And what's important is we have to trade and create transaction.
Got it.
Transaction is important, because without transaction, we cannot just throw money away. We have to make, because this is more responsible, because this is people's money. And if we fail, Cebu is very small.
Everybody will know about
Yeah.
Know about you. So
it. The
integrity
Mariteses will talk about
will
you.
talk about you.
Mhm.
It is small, even the Philippines. So integrity is
Mm.
important. So we said, do our best and dive. And yep, that's what we've been through.
Sounds good. How about you, Jill? So now you have a grant. Again, easy peasy for you. You have 5 options. See? You got in. But how did you then turn that into, AniTech? Again, it's easy to talk about it when it's in a piece of white paper.
Right. Yeah.
And this was personal to you because you've been part of the system who was supposed to, make things easy. Now you're out of that system, balls in your court. What was the first few steps that you had to go through to put this into work? Because now you have resources to actually put into work. What was that like?
Yeah. Well, my startup journey, or our startup journey in AniTech, was quite different because we actually raised funds first.
Oh,
Yeah.
through whom?
Leaveness Japan. So they're
yung
a deep tech.
Gaya eh.
Yeah, deep tech
Grant
accelerator in
writer.
Japan.
Okay.
Yes.
You
So-
got, aside from the DOST grant, you
Yeah,
did
that
that
was-
prior?
Yeah, October 2022
Oh,
was when we
Okay.
got the investment. On my birthday, actually, was when the day that
belated.
they said
Okay.
yes. So
Okay.
that happened, and then
Mm.
a year later, we got the DOST grant.
Okay. So
Yeah,
you
through
already had
Tapi.
the head start.
We did.
Okay, so what was that like? Walk us through. Then you had all these resources prior pa pala.
Yeah.
But again, very hard to raise funds
Of
from the
course.
get-go. My
Mm.
God,
Very much.
even the best of us.
Oh my God,
Hard.
Sabi ko nga rin, if I could just keep on building, I just love to build it. Pero as CEO,
not
you
how
need
the
to.
game is
Yeah, that's not how
played.
the game is played exactly.
Okay, so what was the first few steps you remember doing, and what was the struggles you had to go through there?
Well, I mean, fundraising for investors is definitely not the same as, let's say, fundraising through government, through grants, right?
Yep.
So, much like much like the whole data room concept, with DOST, we had to prepare all of the documentation. Luckily for us, we have good outsourced accountants and legal, all through which we actually know from Villgro, like Raymond Rodis of startup Digest PH.
Digest. Ayan.
Yun.
Okay, there you go.
Digest PH, awesome. So any startup
Shout
out
out.
there that needs a lawyer who actually knows startups,
Yep.
he's your go-to guy. So yeah, all of our documentation was in order. The only thing that we needed, honestly, that was really the challenge for us. It was a coin toss for us to get that DOST grant. I told Paul, because he is we're incubated through him.
Yep.
I said to Paul, we only have 2 days. And there is one document here that we can't get. We need the endorsement from the DOST regional office, right? Before you get the funding. And I said, Paul, we only have 2 days. If we don't have this endorsement from them, we're pretty much dead in the water. I won't there's no point. There's no point in submitting at all, because when you submit in the portal, they'll check everything.
Correct.
And if that's not there, you're automatically declined. So
Correct.
there's no point, right? To keep on writing or to refine everything. The work plan and the budget. Well, he got it within 6 hours. So I'm like,
Again, Paul Pao.
okay, so
Sa
Paul
magician.
Pao does it again. So I told my team, okay, walang matutulog. Walang matutulog.
If
Dito
Paul
tayo.
Pao did not sleep, how dare we sleep? Okay?
Hindi tayo matutulog. We will meet this deadline. We will revise the work plan. We will revise the budget.
Wow.
True enough. Na-submit, 5 p.m. yan eh. Yung deadline. 4:45? Yeah? 15 minutes before the deadline?
Very
Crazy.
similar to
Holy
you.
hour. Holy
Yeah.
hour.
Diba? 4:45? And
Almost a buzzer beater right there.
buzzer
Okay.
beater talaga.
Okay, now again, you guys are here. Walk me through the first few struggles. Because again, funding, whatever. The best of us, if you've been watching Hustleshare, been watching Founders Only, we come clean. We don't. This podcast is popular. It's not a flex fest. Let's talk about the real shit that we have to go through out here,
Yeah.
right? So, I'll throw it right back at you, Neil. It's the hardest part. Again, okay, fine. We're gonna find transactions. We're gonna find these, but even if resources are there, it is not a guarantee that things will work. Sometimes, what happens when you raise funding, it just amplifies the problem to a bigger thing. If you did not
Right.
really nip it in the bud.
Yeah.
What were the first few struggles that you remember that you had to overcome? Or even if you're still overcoming now, what was that like?
Yeah. When kasi we're doing three things or two things. The R&D and the serving of the client.
Yep.
There was a delay of the payment of the client. We have a weekly salary for our farmers, and then we have to procure some of the stuff, and we have to pay our farmers who supply. All involves financial thing, but sometimes even you plan it well, because there are some VOCA world, like restaurants are affected, and I don't know, I even didn't remember where we get that money. But
Maybe in the same place you got the CD. No, okay.
so we were able to find a way. Every one of us contribute,
Okay.
because the deal is we don't want to make our people hungry. Because if these people don't have money, then they will not come back and work, and these farmers will stop supplying. And then we beg for our clients to pay us ahead, let them understand.
Wow.
So it's more of talking to them in the real sense that we need your help, because we also helping people. So we being true to them. And some of our suppliers, we trying to ask some advance. And
Wow.
so it's a sort of maneuvering those things. And I would say I was grateful for that experience, because it made you more of a thinker
Yep.
and not become more because I'm more immature than my co-founder. My co-founder is been a lot of struggles, so he was able to. I'm become rattled and cannot sleep. But my we even go to casino to bet. He was going there because there was like that. Huh? Right. But anyway, you should not. But
New star ba yan? New star? Okay.
we're really looking for options. But good thing, God provides those things. And, for me, people like move away to struggles. For me, I would love to go head to head on that because that's the gold mine. That's what makes you who you are. If you cannot solve it, then you stop from there. Because but if you are really trained to be a solver, then you become who you are because you were able to solve. So
Absolutely.
I'm grateful for that. But if I wanna come back from that situation, it's really hard. It's like so
Yeah.
many chores on your body and said, but founders are resilient. That's a test of
Grit.
what they are really made of.
Yep.
All right.
Yes,
Now, how about you, Jill? Again, it's not easy. Now you have a team. You've had funding. You have more funding, but that doesn't solve problems right away. It extends your runway a little bit. But what was the most profound struggle you had to overcome that you remember you had to go through?
Honestly, for us, ever since the inception of this, and even until now, our struggle is because we're a technical team. Yes, we do have some experience in research and some agricultural applications. But the fact of the matter is, we don't have a reputation in the industry, and this industry that we are in is very, very close knit. Agriculture, everybody knows each other. And once you dig deep into the rabbit hole and get more connections, everybody really, really do know each other, from government to private sector, etc. So, it took me, let's say, 2-3 years of consistently going to events, sessions, speaking engagements, everything that had to every agri-related event I had to go to just to find connections, and I still do it up to this day. Because unlike Neil here, who works directly with the farmer, we're sort of B2B in a way, where we have to work with we don't work with smallholder farmers. We work with yes, we can work with small farms, but our target is more medium to large scale farms, greenhouses, so more of high value crops.
Right.
And for you to get to that for you to get to
there's
that
a
inner
lot
circle,
of barrier to entry.
there is a lot of barrier to entry. So I had to spend a large amount of my time towards networking, forming connections.
How
and
did
really
you
pitching.
get the first breakthrough? Because in industries where there's incumbents or bad habits that fell hard, the mentality here is like, hey, if it ain't work, don't fix it. And who the hell are you to tell me what I need to know? Right? So obviously you persisted and persisted, but where did the first domino fall and how did you get that done?
I'm just reminded of the time that we closed our first paying customer harvest, because like you said, it's so hard to come in there and just tell everybody, you're doing it all wrong. You can't do that, right?
They'll be like, who the hell are you, kid?
Yeah, exactly. Mukhang to, sasabi sa'yo, di ba? Parang doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So I'm like, the one thing that I always tell people is, we're not here to take your jobs. Like, no matter what we do, sensors, automation, etc., whatever we build will not, it's not meant to replace you. It's meant to make it's meant to help make your job better, make farming better and smarter. That's it. That's the only thing that we want to be able to do. So when it came to the pitching it to Harvest, our first paying customer, we were like, okay, our prototype wasn't even like grand and stuff, right? It was like an ugly box. Like it was an ugly black box. And then I'm like, you know what? You see this ugly black box here? It's so ugly, but it can do everything for you. Like it can monitor the things that you need, like temperature, humidity, carbon dioxide. You need that, right? Okay, you invest in this. Let us iterate along the way. Then I'll give it to you I'll give it to you at a discount.
Budol. There you go.
Yeah, true enough, he did. He said yes, and I didn't expect. I didn't expect him to say yes, the COO of Harvest, but he did, and till this day, he's our partner. I actually just came from a meeting with him.
Shout out.
So it's been awesome. So they went from just being our first paying customer to an actual partner, a long-term partner.
And that's it. It's a game of persistence, because if a lot of people in entrepreneurship will keep going and going, and then the first wall you hit, that's the first test day, right? Like, all right, do you really have what it takes? 'Cause sometimes you're going to have to bang your head against that wall. And you'll see it every single time you bat, and you're obviously bleeding profusely. A crack opens up until one time you just like, boom. Then you push through. Some entrepreneurs, the ones who don't love it enough, or you don't persist enough, sometimes the first bang pa lang, ayaw na, right? So it's a torturous path and a torturous method to get there. But if you persist hard enough, sometimes it's illogical. Majority of the time, it's illogical. A lot of people say, what the hell are you doing?
Yes.
Diba? That's why it becomes a lonely road.
Yep.
Yep.
That's why only fellow founders like us would understand.
Yeah.
Like when you're talking about it, I understand you, bro. I'm going through that same thing. You're talking about that. Yeah, the first close.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that's the best. That's
Yeah,
the
it feels
best
like a
one.
natural high.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yes,
Diba?
it's validation. That's
Yeah.
the best validation. And then especially you get the first check.
Yeah.
Yes. It's like, you know how those vendors in Green Hills would get
Exactly.
the
that.
first cash. Like, it's worth it. There you go.
Oh.
First cash. But again, that's just the first.
Yeah.
I mean, celebrate the small win.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that's what keeps you sane,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
And then
Oh my
the next
God, it gets
day, okay
harder.
na, back to work. Okay na tayo.
Right.
Roll up
So,
your
okay.
sleeves.
That's what I want to find out on the next break, because after this, we're now going to talk about, obviously, they can't. You saw the origin story. They were able to really earn their keep. But again, they also got into Villgro and now they're leveling up. Well, let's talk about a lot of what they were able to unlock through Villgro and what's up next for both of their startups. Well, let's talk about that more after the break. If you're building a climate smart or socially inclusive business, you don't have to do it alone. Villgro Philippines is a gender smart impact incubator supporting bold entrepreneurs across the Philippines and Southeast Asia who are solving our most urgent problems, from climate change to healthcare access to food security. Through a mix of funding, mentorship, and community, Villgro Philippines helps early stage founders strengthen their business models, scale their impact, and raise the capital they need. Whether you're an enterprise ready to grow or an ecosystem ally ready to co-invest or collaborate, let's build a better world together. Visit villgrophilippines.org. That's villgrophilippines.org, or reach out at hello@villgrophilippines.org. And we're back from the break. We are still with Neil and Jill. What a nice rhyming. This is a rap song. All right, Neil and Jill, again, told us the amazing journey and the struggles that they have to come clean. Because that's what's special about entrepreneurs being in this podcast. You know, we're not here to flex and have a pissing contest. You get that in other sources. We're here to tell it as it is. Entrepreneurship is lonely. Entrepreneurship is hard. And it's hard to do it if you don't have a village that nurtures you. And that village, obviously, you found that in other sources, but now that village exists through Villgro. Oh, what a plug. Okay, there. Now, I want to understand how you got into the Villgro program, because, again, it's not for everyone. It's not like, oh, everybody come here and Villgro with us. No, it's not. They select the best of the best, who's also a perfect fit to what they do. So I want to understand, Jill, how did you get into Villgro? Talk about that story, and then what did it give you, what you expected it, and what did you get the most out of the program?
Yeah. So my journey with Villgro was actually quite early. We joined their She Disrupts challenge back in 2022, if I'm not mistaken. Oh my God.
Is
Yeah.
2022 your year? You did so
Yeah,
many things
I
in
know.
2022.
I don't know. I think maybe it's because the
year
economy
of
backed up and I
Gillian.
was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
no, kasi 2022 was the day I decided, you know what, full-time ko to for 6 months. Let's see what happens. Parang ganun. I was at that
full
mode.
jump.
I prepared eh. Sabi ko,
Okay.
I have enough savings. Sabi ko, sige,
Okay.
if I don't get funding, if I don't get a client within 6 months, okay, balik tayo.
But here you are, still full time doing
and then,
this. Okay,
and then Villgro
2025.
happened. We won, I think, 3rd place there, and then they
Nice.
invited AniTech to apply to We Rise Accelerator, if I'm not mistaken, if that's the name. Yeah,
Okay.
that was a 6-month program that we got into,
Mhm.
and I loved it because honestly, no one matches better like Villgro, like mentor to mentee. I love it. Like I told when they asked, okay, what are your needs right now? What were your challenges back then? And then we said, honestly, we don't know how to scale. We don't know how to actually scale from prototype to mass manufacturing. I mean, nobody really teaches that.
Right, because
How do
there's
you
a
teach
hardware
that, diba?
component eh. Right.
Exactly. So parang ako, that was, I mean, the foresight I had was like, okay, this is going to be a problem. We're going to have to think about how much cash we're burning because we're asset heavy. We have hardware.
Right.
We're going to have to think about the ability and willingness to pay for the farm. So we really had to think about okay, all of that, all of the finances and the operations that comes with it. Because it's not like we're gonna send the sensor there and by God, go farmer, go use it.
Bala ka
Diba?
na.
It's not gonna. It doesn't work that way. Baka mamaya tapon lang nila, diba? Or ibenta nila sa
Or go
junkyard,
to the
diba?
casino.
Oo, diba? So luckily,
Okay.
Villgro has matched us with great mentors. Arun from, I think, Villgro USA at the time, May
Yep.
Enojas, who until this day I still have constant communication with.
Wow.
And they've had good workshop sessions on unit economics, KPIs, etc. So I love that because that's what really you don't teach that in
Nope.
business school.
Nope.
Business school. I mean, I didn't take up an MBA, physics economics nga ako eh. So these concepts were not familiar to me at the time.
And that's the core of every freaking business, by the way.
Exactly.
Right.
Yung parang nadadali ka dahil sa BIR, SEC, parang my goodness, hindi ko, di ba, malay ko ba, they don't teach you that, but,
Right.
Villgro is very good at really narrowing down that certain knowledge that you need as a founder so that you lessen the chances of making mistakes, which you will. I mean, every founder will make
inevitable.
mistakes, but if you have these people telling you na, okay, I've been through this.
Yes.
Diba? I think that was the most important part that,
Right.
okay, yes, we're crazy, but we're not the only crazy ones here, diba?
It's a village of crazy people.
Yes.
There you go.
And I like Villgro because, very women founder friendly.
Yes.
I mean,
From the founder herself, Priya.
of
Okay,
course,
there you go.
kasi I think back then in 2017, 2018, 2019, syempre, Startup Innovation Act was just signed nung time na yun, and fintech was all the rage, Bitcoin. I joined those events, and I noticed na okay, parang 80%, 20% na men, women. Now it's like okay, medyo healthy, ganun 60-40. I like it because Villgro gives that space of where women founders can actually talk, no holds barred.
Yep.
And lets us interact with one another kasi unti lang rin naman kami who wants to take this risk.
No, and you have to really cling onto fellow founders in order for you to do it. Because the beauty about Villgro is it provides structure.
Exactly.
Because, like, for example, me, when I started out, the idea space was there and all these other things, but it's hard to get to know people that are going to be your ride or die founder at the founder level.
Yeah.
Because most people won't even understand what the hell you're doing, right? But if you already have structure over that, and Villgro provides that, and again, there's a real kind of mandate over this. These are the type of startups we will support, who are socially impacting, who are female-led and all that, or they provide so much structure, and it's less intimidating for you to thrive together.
Exactly.
Because that's a safe space, right? That they know you're gonna mess up, right? They know they're gonna get it done. You're not gonna have an easy path, but here they are making things easy. Like okay, unit echo, little things that it would equip you as an entrepreneur. Because the last thing you want to do is keep building and keep growing, but at the core it's broken. Then you're just scaling up. Inevitably, you're gonna run out of runway and cash, and wala, sayang lang in the end. But for you, Neil, that's what I want to find out. What's your Villgro journey, and how did you maximize, or how did you get to maximize this whole opportunity for you guys to thrive?
Yeah, it's quite fresh for me because we just finished the cohort.
Oh, okay.
And actually, I'm very sort of intentional about looking for an accelerator. We don't have in Cebu. I never joined an accelerator, but it's just lang we are ready on this time because I was there in the farm building these things, and you come to the point that doing these things, but if you want to scale, you should learn from the experts who knows these things.
Yeah.
And it showed up. I don't know what's the first. It was your interview or our application, but you interviewed Priya because I'm a person of I just get anything any accelerator because I'm very conscious about joining events.
Right.
It might I'm really focused on which because I want to build relationship. I want to build partnership. So I don't want to have many of this. So I think when you interview Priya again, she was talking about her story and this.
Yeah.
But I'm not
Very
aware,
inspiring.
you know. But I learned that she knows the space.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this is the best thing, because you should, the ones who teach, the ones who is there.
Yep.
And India and all those things and her expertise. So we joined. We got lucky that we were selected,
Nice.
because it's to have that top 35. It's when you see all those things. I'm scrolling around actually all those Nexus who got selected. Those are all champions. Like,
Yeah.
how can I beat these guys?
It was the
It's all
same
good.
reaction I had rin back in 2020.
The mega
So,
imposter
yeah.
syndrome.
It's
Like,
all
oh
good.
my God.
Yeah, from solar
Mm.
and everything,
Yeah.
story, impact.
That's right.
Parang lumiliit din ako. But it was that, it was the culture that really retain on me even right now. Even where the accelerator, Denise,
Yeah.
Priya, and all those stuff.
Yeah.
Helping us connecting to
Right.
partners. But it was those things that sometimes founders will also, because we have bad relationship with some other investors maybe, or all those things that people rip you out. But this one is something that gives trust. So that's why I want to build and learn from this, because we know it's not the end. So I think it's the founders thing and the process of her expertise, and I think that's what Philippines should also pattern, because some accelerator is just for show, I would say.
Correct.
But this one is not for show. This is for a long-term goal, and we
Yeah.
don't want for show. We want to maximize time
Exactly.
and result. And I think this accelerator is
Yeah.
something. It cares for the founders.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah,
Your
exactly.
startups are a great example of how great the type of startups that they are able to nurture and help out scale. But Neil, next question I have is that in every accelerator, what makes it great is not just what the program
Exactly.
goes through you; it's who you do it with.
Yep.
And you mentioned your fears that it can be very intimidating. As I'm like, hello, why am I here? Right? But eventually, by going through the same process, you build lifelong friends. What was that experience like?
This is something new, but because it happens like 2 weeks.
Mm.
And again, it's a sort of matching on
Yeah.
somebody there who match in the room, because we are not we shared, and this co-founder is also doing some briquette and this grass,
Mm.
and that's what we need.
Okay, wow.
It's like we're matching them, and then when we also talk some personal things, and we were able to talk about and pray each other, because we have the same process. I've been there 2022, and he's been on that stage,
Mm.
and it's only founders to founders will share
Correct.
those things. Even we come back, that's that's the thing that I remember, that I'm not alone. Everybody is there, but together when we work, if we work together, we become more stronger.
Correct.
Actually, it's not a competitor. Everything, every startups that I have in 35, and even the people I meet, it changed my mind, because even if maybe you have the same thing, but that, like Gian is very expert to this, why would you create something? You just
Exactly.
work with people.
Correct.
So that Priya was able to curate the best of the startups.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe Priya assigned to match it with
I told you, they were galing nila mag-match
maybe they're matching
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I end up excited going home and more work to do
Mm.
because of those linkages. But these are really premium people that
Mm.
it's like a parent handling over that
Exactly.
you meet this guy and
Yeah.
talk to them, and then so it's like it's a long term. So that's why tatak Villgro na tayo, di ba? Like,
Yeah.
that's not because I cannot go to other accelerator because I love the culture. I want to
Yeah.
grow with that culture.
It's
And the
kind of
syner-
hard when you've
yeah.
experienced
Yeah.
when you've experienced Villgro. Kasi
Oh,
nga,
for sure. And then,
kasi most accelerators, di ba, like, okay, after the program, what comes next?
Yep, yun.
Villgro
Tama.
gives you a sense that I met them 2022, 2023. It's 2025 and I'm still talking to them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, I've seen programs come and go. Pag tapos na, wala na.
Mm.
Pag nakuha mo na yung award money, wala na.
Yeah.
Diba?
Bye.
Wala nang suporta, diba?
Mhm.
It's a common thing. Sa Villgro,
Right.
they're not like that
Yeah,
at all.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And the synergies that you, again, because sometimes in accelerators, again, they all have pros and cons. Sometimes it feels like a contest, like pataas na ng ihi.
Yep.
Like, oh God, I don't want to be. The rising tide lifts all boats. We're gonna get there not by competing, but by collaborating. But if you said that every single one that you go through there has a lot of synergies with, that makes the journey so much more easier.
Yep.
That you don't look at your peers as competition, but as someone that can help you get there faster.
Yeah.
Right? I love it.
That's really true because, entrepreneurs, even us coming here,
Mm.
we are on the competing side. But it
Mhm.
changed. Like, I think that what Priya was embedding us because Filipinos always compete,
Yeah, kasi startup competition. Eh.
But Priya has that sense of other countries also,
Mm.
the collaboration.
Yeah.
So that's what really is something about that Villgro.
Yeah. Like,
Love
you
it.
don't win through the prize, you win through the connections,
Yeah.
the collaboration.
And especially if you're coming 0 to 1.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
In a sector, and I've always been saying this in the podcast, that you know what, the biggest problems we have as a country will revolve in our ability to produce food and agriculture. It's our biggest and it's our biggest opportunity out there.
Mhm.
But there's so few who's trying to solve a problem
Yeah.
here, the problem here. And if there's a lot like you guys, it's not enough. We need more
Yeah.
because in order for us to solve such a complex problem, you need multiple people doing the right place at the right time. Because if you're just gonna do this separately, what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
Right? It ain't gonna work because it's such a complex problem, and the odds are against us by default.
That's
Because you said it, Jill. Now, okay, our peers, our neighbors, learned here, got the best of the best, and now are kicking our ass.
Yep.
Right? So you need to do that, and I love that Villgro allows you with to thrive in that mentality.
Yep.
Because again, imagine if you guys were competing. What's the point, diba?
You're,
Eh di
you're,
wala na nangyari.
Right.
you're
Patay na
missing
kami.
you're missing the biggest opportunity, which is collaboration with some great
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
with great products also.
Yeah.
That's the
Founders do not compete; they collaborate.
yeah. It should
Okay.
be.
Now, Jill,
mean,
I wanna ask your 2 cents here because I've seen you see the problem at hand in when you were in NFA, and yes, Villgro helps. Yes, all these other things help, but I want to look into the immediate future with agri-tech startups like you. And I said it already before. Yes, there's help, but you're facing a behemoth right here.
Yeah.
What type of support does the startup ecosystem? Because if you have a Villgro, what if more Villgro-like entities help out, chip in through Villgro or through whatever? So to really give you guys a better chance of success, what would that look like? Because you've seen, okay, you're a PCC, you're an economist, you see the macro. So sometimes what we see is just the micro.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it should all piece together at the macro level. This should all make sense. What would that be like?
I'd say, I mean, every startup is gonna say, yeah, we need the funding, right? I mean, beyond just the funding.
Yeah.
Honestly, it would be a lot easier for us to fundraise if we've built the traction, which is what early stage startups like us are struggling with. I mean, right now I'm B2B, so I think what would have helped us a lot faster, even until now, is if accelerators or key ecosystem players can actually match us to possible early adopters or corporations or potential customers, right? That who will B2B batchmaking, like make it more personalized. That would be great because that they don't need to sell us. That's our job. We'll sell ourselves, but we need to get our foot into the door, into the in with the potential customers. If we had just that opportunity, I think we'd go a lot faster. And to Neil's point, honestly, no one company can solve this problem. When I talk with some colleagues in the industry, right, in agri, we're like, you know what, we should make an Agri-Tech alliance.
Yeah, that's
Diba? Kasi I can't do what you do.
Mm.
I'm not in the business of working and clustering farmers.
Yep.
That's not what I do. What I do is I democratize and harness technology in order to everyone to get access and to
Yep.
eliminate that.
Yep.
So that's what I do. I wanna but if there are others that are working with, let's say, drones, satellite mapping, I don't see them as competition. I see them as potential partners.
Yeah.
Right? Regardless of what stage you're in. Because that's what this industry needs. It's no longer a battle of who gets the best market share. Because honestly, our market share is getting smaller and smaller
Yep.
every day that we're not collaborating.
Correct.
right.
Diba? Kasi we don't want to get into a point where we're importing 90% of our crops, right? No one wants that. Diba?
And it's a shame. I mean, we have the natural resources to do that, but now it becomes a subdivision. Diba? Again, I'm saying in some places, the farm after a few years becomes a subdivision. Diba?
Yeah.
It's more profitable.
Pero low cost. Cheap naman daw. Okay, but I want to also double down on what you said. That yes, the incubators, the accelerators like Villgro are able to do, but in order for this to work, the inertia, tama ba? The inertia should come from fellow founders themselves.
Right.
Yeah.
Because if you don't reach out, kanya-kanya tayo, good luck, guys. Wala. Nothing's gonna happen. Like, for example, I'll give an example here. Us media guys in the ecosystem, there's probably a handful or 2 handfuls of us lang. The granddaddy of them all, Kumu. Right? And this is a testament to the founders of Kumu. They could just said, you know what, F you all. We're killing it. We've raised Series C. And in media, it's one of the hardest industries you can. These are the most brilliant minds that I know. But even if they are the most brilliant minds, they still struggled. But what did they choose to do? Did they choose to say, you know what, F you all? No. They lent an arm and a leg
That's good.
to help us out. Who benefited off of that? What the path they paved with Kumu benefited us in PNA, in so many more startups. They did not leave us behind. So whoever is going to pave that path should pave it for others. Because if you only do that alone, for example, e-commerce, bala na kayo. And you're going to be isolationist, a soloista.
Yep.
Right? Nothing's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because the problem is so complex. And if the market is really big enough, it should be able to accommodate multiple winners.
That's true.
In
Yes.
Agri-Tech,
Huge.
it's so big that
Huge.
it should accommodate multiple winners. So for example, top of mind, man, I just had her on Hustleshare a few weeks ago too. Juka Laksina.
Of course,
Of
Go
Go
Eden.
Oh, yeah.
Diba?
Juka's amazing.
How can you all guys do that? And there's no clear winner pa eh. Like there's no Kumu that you can follow. So you guys need to figure that out together in
Yeah,
order to
that's
make it
true.
work. And what I like about what you guys are doing is you already have that bond. You just gotta keep adding onto it. Right? You have to have that. Like, for example, in a startup ecosystem, there's gonna be a subculture. The crypto bros. Oh, okay, crypto bros. When it's a bear market, iyak sila lahat.
Diba?
Hey, I'm saying, I don't care how good you
ride
are.
or die, diba?
Alright, ride or die. Wag me, hodl. That's what they're gonna go. Pero when it's a bear run, a bull run, oh my God. Yeah. LFG to the moon. Pero when it comes to a downmark, my God, they're McDo mode.
Oo.
That's what.
Pansit Canton. Okay. Balik tayo sa Pansit Canton.
Yes. There's a subculture, and the best way to do that is stick to fucking together.
Yep.
And that's what exciting. Okay, super duper exciting. But again, we're running out of time. Now it's your turn. What's next for your startups? And tell the people what they need to go through and how can startups and other people in the ecosystem collaborate with you better. Jill.
Right now, AniTech is in this precipice. Okay. before we even raise any future rounds of funding, we want to be able to build traction. And to build traction, I gotta increase connections within the industry. I mean,
Yeah,
and
hook her up.
open,
Come on.
yeah,
There you go.
and be open to collaboration. So we're not just looking inward, not just here, of course, locally in Metro Manila or even nationally.
Yep.
We're open to even partnering
Cebu.
with outside
Ayan,
players. Yeah, and of course, Cebu.
We'll be talking after this.
Because of our connections also through Levanes Japan, we have also a project in Japan. So we're looking at this not just in a local context, but also in a regional and Asian context. So I think that's the thing that will keep us up at night. But the thing that's most exciting for this year is we want to build attraction in order for us to be able to fundraise and grow 10x further. But yeah, one thing that we're also going to be very aggressive at is partnerships.
Yeah.
Yes, partnerships. Partnerships with companies, organizations, research institutes that have the same mind,
Yeah.
like that have the same mindset that we can't go on like this.
Yep.
Right. If we keep doing what we're doing now, we might as well just throw in the towel, or
Yeah.
I'll go to another country where where Agri-Tech is needed, diba? Diba? And so that's my job right now, to find other like-minded people that I can work with. We
Right.
can work with.
And if they want to reach out to you, where do they go and how do they do that?
Yeah, so you can connect with me through LinkedIn, Gillian Santos, or follow us on LinkedIn as well, Anihan Technologies or AniTech, or you can go through our website, anihan.tech.
There you go. How about you, Neil? What's next for you guys? And if they want to reach out and collab with you and get some lechon or lashan,
Larshan
Okay.
in Cebu.
where do they go? And how do they do that?
Yeah, right now actually it's always of the climate has been we are now in a sort of an emergency actually.
Mm.
That's what I see. So it's a good thing. I think for years it taught me that collaboration is the key.
Mm.
And we are now because our goal is to build more Arka Asia village in each region. So we have in Cebu, we'll be building in Bohol. We have now projects in Negros. We have some in Leyte. And
Wait lang,
so-
the bridge is still broken. Wait
It's
lang.
broken.
Oh
Okay.
my.
Mm.
So we're building this, and we want also to collaborate with people who are in our space.
Mm.
For example, for the cold storage and all those things. And we are right now actually before we are just a Agri-Tech platform, and we add that ecosystem because my goal now, or our goal for the company, is to create that stronger ecosystem because we are building a community.
Mhm.
And this community of people there that we build, like 100 people, 200 people, we need armaments of technologies to be deployed. Because like I'm building a church, but not to pray, but to execute. But we cannot build all those things. So if we see the problem about soil, we work with Japanese firm. We call it Shokaku. They are converting this soil to revive it, and it helps our crops. So that soil problem is a problem but we don't need to solve it.
Mm.
That company Shokaku Ricky was able to solve. And there's other companies that we collaborate, and we also work with the DOST because we want to deploy it already.
Mm.
So yeah, and right now we want to be also in Manila to learn about space because Yeah.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
yeah,
I should introduce you.
If
to
this is a
the-
collab
Yeah.
Yeah.
happening,
because
you're right in front of your eyes, right there.
because in Cebu you will only see this sort of space, but when you go up you see really the bigger space.
Right.
Mm.
So it's good thing to learn about the ground,
Yeah.
like sort of a grassroots solutions.
Mm.
But you move up, you can see other players that okay, help us, and let's build this thing. And
Exactly.
now we are also working with processors, exporters already to supply it. So
Juicy.
come and visit on our Arka village in Cebu when we'll build more also. And I'm happy to collaborate to everyone who is willing to provide a job for the people and produce more food for our country.
All right. Thank you so much, guys. Again, I appreciate you. Great job. Amazing. And I'm rooting for you. But before I let you go, follow us whenever podcast app you're listening to, whether Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. And if you see this, like, comment, and subscribe na rin if you see any value. And also, if you did say some jargon, just like the links that we talked about previous episode from before and whatnot, we will all put that into the Hustleshare website at hustleshare.com. And if you want to support Hustleshare and doing content like this, like Founders Only, so big shout out to Villgro again for helping us getting this content like this. GoTyme, Qapita, Shoppable. Wait, I'm forgetting something. Wait, GoTyme. Ayan, GoTyme. They're all here. Okay. Qapita. SeekCap. Ayan, sorry, I forgot. There's so many of you. But again, because of you guys, we're able to do, and of course, PayMongo. Sorry na. Jojo, I love you. Okay, we're able to do content like this. We need support because it's not cheap to do content like this. And we want to be able to keep doing this as we go. So please do subscribe at premium.hustleshare.com. Again, Neil and Jill. I love that it rhymes. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
All right. And I'll
Thank
see you
you so
guys in the
much.
next episode. Peace.
Thank you so much for watching Hustleshare on YouTube. If you like this video, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel to get more content like this. And to get the full audio episodes of Hustleshare and Founders Only, subscribe to our podcasts at Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.